pass a motion to allow the community members of Bexar County to learn about this project, to be part of the process, and ultimately vote yes on a world-class arena in downtown and support the Frost Bank Center and allow for that venue to continue to thrive for decades to come. This is an exciting moment for our community, and we are grateful for your leadership and your vision. We ask you today to be bold and to move this forward, and our commitment is that we will push for the maximum positive impact for all community members. Thank you very much.
Thank you. All right, Jeff Webster.
Good afternoon, Judge, members of the Commissioner's Court. It's a privilege and honor to be here today. Good to see all of you. I've known so many of you for so long. Let me just say thank you. You know, making easy decisions week in and week out is simple. Complicated decisions and choices like you're making today that actually, I've said before, are going to be on your term. They're generational decisions. Those are harder to make. We all like making decisions that benefit our neighbors, our communities, and things like this. But this opportunity to fund, and I am so excited we're going to be able to support Cody Davenport and the Rodeo folks, our folks at the Coliseum, and support downtown. The Greater San Antonio Chamber believes that they are all connected. It is not one without the other. It is a roadmap between all of them throughout our city. From the Alamo to the Riverwalk to Hemisphere Park to the new arena to over to the west side where we will grow and do things over there that are currently underway, to the east side where the folks, Cody and the team, are trying to grow that Western heritage, and our folks at Joe and Harry have got plans and working together how to make economic development and create opportunity. So many times people say, well, what does this mean? What this means is there will be jobs created with construction. There will be jobs created with entrepreneurs who for the first time will step out and take risk and then create generational family wealth and opportunity. And it starts right here today with the decisions you guys are about to make. So, Judge, I thank you. I know it's been a deliberative process. I know there's still more to come. I do believe there's accountability and disclosure. I believe we got to include our local businesses every bit as possible, from our small businesses to our homegrown family businesses. They have to be a part of this, from the Frost Bank Center to the Freeman Coliseum to the arena. We've got to do business in San Antonio, and we got to do business together. Judge, I thank you for leading the way on this. Thank you for your vote today. Let's continue to make San Antonio someplace exceptional that it's got the reputation to be. With that, I say thank you and appreciate your time and consideration today. Thank you very much.
Thank you. All right, I need clarification for the San Antonio Stock Show and Rodeo. I have Cody Davenport, Audrey Smith, and Derek Howard. Do y'all wish to speak individually or? Cody?
Yes, sir.
Do you want to, I've got you for 3. Do you want to speak in behalf of all 3? You have other people?
I'll go solo.
What's that?
I'll go solo.
Okay. So all those here for the San Antonio Stock Show and Rodeo, please come forward. Cody Davenport, I'm giving you 9 minutes. You've signed for 3 people.
Judge Sky, Commissioners, good to see y'all. Thank you for allowing us in here today. I'll start by echoing what Mr. Holt said. Spurs have been great partners of ours down there. We're in a beautiful situation in our perspective in the sense that we both have outgrown each other. What a great opportunity for both of us. The San Antonio Stock Show and Rodeo and the Spurs have tremendous followings on both sides. And I think it's a great opportunity for our city and for all of us. I want to talk about the rodeo now. We've been there with y'all since 1949. We've been there since the Joe and Harry first broke ground. And we have always been there. And all we've ever done is continue to grow inside of our process and our partnership together. A few highlights to remind everybody in the room. Through our partnership, $279 million have gone back to the youth of Texas. Through us. Through our operations in your grounds, $279 million. To break it down in an annual, $12.1 million just last year alone. 20,000 students have their education furthered because of the partnership that we've been able to have. $330 million in economic impact strictly in the month of February. Over a 22-day production, $330 million in economic impact down there on those grounds. We're very lucky. Through the growth, we've had lots of outreach to us, people wanting to come get engaged in the grounds. Through the Western industry, I'm not talking about rodeo, I'm not talking about rinse and repeat, the same thing you see every February. I'm talking about a massive industry that's out there. We're contacted on a regular basis to come down there and be a part of. We're offering year-round operations. We're offering to expand, continue the growth of the San Antonio Stock Show and Rodeo. We're offering to take the partnership that has been so successful for both sides and expand upon it. Commissioner Calvert, I'm committing to you the east side embracing. We have lots of plans of how to take our immediate neighbors and embrace them and make them part of our show. Continue our outreach across the state, continue our outreach across the nation, but take care of our home front as well. These facilities that we're talking about will allow the San Antonio Stock Show and Rodeo, which I'm proud to say has won numerous rewards out there, to continue to be in the competitive position across the nation that we're in right now. With these facilities, we can continue dominating that industry and continue bringing in people from other areas, outside money coming into Bexar County on those grounds there. All we're asking for is to do an expansion upon what we have provided for years, since the very beginning, to allow us to expand and allow us to grow down there. Our commitment is to grow those things year-round to you guys. I appreciate the support you guys have given us thus far and everything. I know there's been a lot of effort, a lot of dialogue, a lot of talk in this process. I know it's been hard on y'all, and I appreciate all the efforts that have gone inside of there. Probably more importantly, on behalf of the San Antonio Stock Show and Rodeo, we appreciate being partners with you through all those years and all the great things that we were able to accomplish together. So, thank you guys much.
Thank you. Let me have Mike Phillips. And Rena Oden, you're next after that. Mike, do you wish to?
Judge, we're representing Cops Metro. We have two speakers.
Okay, so do you want to speak as one, Mike, or
Yeah.
both of y'all?
Both.
Both, okay. Mike,
Renee Oden, too.
thank you.
Cops Metro is here to reiterate our stance. We do not support our public money for private development or private benefit. Today, we stand in opposition to a venue tax for yet another arena. Why do we need to spend $300 million for another arena to compete with the Frost Center? We are the third poorest city in the country. We need flood infrastructure. We need investment in our neighborhoods. Where is the public process you assured us of, Judge Sakai? There is no actual cost benefit for this project, no economic analysis, no real economic analysis. This is a blank check to billionaires with our tax money. There should be no rush. No rush. The city looks very likely to wait until next year for their vote. The county should do the same. Taxpayers deserve a better deal.
Ms. Oden,
Good morning,
good morning.
Judge Sakai, Commissioners, Renee Oden, Macedonia Baptist Church. I'm a Cops Metro leader. It is unconscionable that you want to give this money for an arena when we have people dying from infrastructure or lack thereof. A real divestment from our communities. A gentleman died in his vehicle on Penn Road from floods. We had 13 people that died early June from floods on the north side. Don't tell us this money is only for arenas. Where is your imagination for our families? In early 2000s, we voted on the venue tax where there was community benefit for all districts, for all of us. This deal has no community benefit. Parks, arts, only greed. Only greed. When is enough enough? In 20 years, another arena, causing more hurt and suffering for our people, for our families. We're signing up voters, and we won't stop because we have an agenda and a better way to spend this money. We will not stop. Today, you have a choice, and it's simple. Greed or the citizens of San Antonio? Thank you.
Thank you. Susan Strawn.
Good morning, Your Honor, and good morning, Commissioners. Thank you for having us here today. I'm here representing No Project Marvel, which is a coalition of community groups that is asking you to delay the vote until due diligence on this deal can be done. And so I would like to reiterate what Cops Metro just said. There has been no due diligence on this deal. There's been no due diligence on Project Marvel itself, no market study, no risk analysis. There's been no due diligence done on the Frost Center. There's been no study that shows whether San Antonio can support 2 arenas. And when it comes to the Coliseum, there's been no study that says we can support the Coliseum against an arena, against a new music venue at the Woods Courthouse, against a baseball stadium that's designed to also host concerts, against the Toyota Center, which the county already had to bail out, and which is also supposed to be for concerts of the same size. There's also been no consideration of alternative uses for the funding. The county's looking at budget deficits. The city already has budget deficits. We don't know what the federal cuts are going to be. One of the things the venue tax can be used for clearly is aquifer protection. The money that we're spending as a county and city has gone down for that. The city is looking at budget deficits. It's unclear whether they could continue to fund that. We need to be looking at that. It could fund West Side Creeks. It could have funded these ball fields that you just voted to fund through some other method. There are other projects out there that we could do. There is absolutely no rush to do this in November. State law provides that the Spurs lease is enforceable by specific performance. It's funded by the venue tax. The state legislature has said it is not in the public interest to be able to waive performance. So it's enforceable by specific performance. The liquidated damages clause is arguably unenforceable, and that leaves us plenty of time to do due diligence and ensure that we're not tying up these funds for another 20 or 30 years without doing our homework on what else could be done with this money. Thank you.
Thank you. Steve Vestier.
Hi, my name is Steve Firstig. I'm just speaking for myself. I just got out of work to try to get over here and say something.
Can you speak up a little bit, please? There you go.
Yeah, sorry, they don't make them go high enough, I guess. First, the Coliseum Complex Venue Project. I need to read because I don't speak that well. The project is event-focused, as it must be for visitors. Although the ideas and planning may be better than 20 years ago, funds for visitor venues may still be fated to fall short on local benefits. I'm very concerned about the county putting forward that this, quote, a foundational economic generator that will catalyze future growth on the east side. From past experience, we know that the venue itself does not do that. Other investment in business and people is needed. Most concerning for this ballot measure, which is the better of these two proposals, is that it is on the ballot with a Spurs arena that's facing opposition. People opposed to the Spurs arena may vote against this as well. People will easily be confused because these proposals use the exact same funding statement on the ballot, and they may choose one or the other, which may mean they choose the Spurs over the Coliseum. The Coliseum Complex project should be the only proposal on this fall ballot. Second, the Spurs Arena project. The Spurs are a foreign organization, but they are a private business. Just taking their word for it about how much public funding they need is financially irresponsible. They clearly stalled and came out with the lowest offer they thought would be accepted. Private businesses should fund their businesses with private funds. The Spurs value has grown 20-fold since 2000, from $189 million to $3.85 billion. These owners can afford to give some of that back. The Spurs could put in $175 million easily over on the east side. They've already said they'd match their $50,000 for the downtown arena with $15,000 more development downtown. Why aren't they doing that over here? The city may not get their bonds on the ballot this fall. People are showing up in force at city council meetings in opposition. The city's leading this arena show. Let them get the project they tied that to approved first. No Project Marvel doesn't mean no Spurs Arena. It means don't do it the way the city wants to do it with public funds. The Spurs value will be 20 times again what it is now when they are looking to build the even next arena 25 years from now. They can afford to invest their own money for that huge gain. Let's keep the second proposal to pay for the Spurs Arena off this ballot. It avoids voter confusion and actually lets voters decide on the first proposal on its own merits. Thank you.
Thank you. Antonia Taylor.
Hello, my name is Tony and I'm a resident of Precinct 3 and a constituent of Grant Moody. I'm here today to ask the Bexar County Commissioners Court to vote no on using our hotel occupancy tax for the Spurs Entertainment District downtown. Since Project Marvel's inception, there's been a lack of transparency from county and city leaders as our neighbors have been locked out of important conversations. The so-called community engagement sessions have not provided an ample opportunity for our working class neighbors to comment on the venue's development, but rather you all have chosen to prioritize our business communities that have a first-hand role in gentrification in our city. Over 25 years ago, when the Frostbank Center was built, the east side was promised a lot: economic development, address infrastructure needs, a new and flourishing community, but time and time again, promises were not kept. Research has shown again and again that stadiums do not provide any sort of economic boost for our communities that surround them, but rather they contribute to gentrification and provide low-wage jobs for our neighbors. Additionally, I question city leaders on how we plan to build arenas, fancy land bridges, convention centers, if we literally cannot get around our city right now. I am tired of having our communities sold out time and time again in the name of tourism and economic development. I am tired of having to bend over backwards and spend public monies on an entertainment district that will ultimately benefit the Peter Holtz of our community and who will leech off of San Antonio until there's nothing left. We deserve to have our public funds spent on public transportation, affordable housing. We need a workforce housing for downtown workers who, without them, our cities would simply not exist how it is today. We deserve to have reliable infrastructure so our families are safe, we can commute, and we do not need to die in floods. And I do not believe the arena is a proper way to prioritize these things. Again, as a resident of Bexar County and San Antonio, I ask the Commissioners Court to not use public funds to build an entertainment district. As public servants, you will have an opportunity to halt gentrification on the east and west sides of San Antonio and spend our money on projects that will tangibly benefit our communities.
Jackie Ali.
Good morning, Judge, Commissioners. My name is Jacqueline Ali, and I'm the Vice President of the United Homeowners Improvement Association located on the east side. We are a neighborhood association comprising the neighborhoods of Willowwood, Meadowview North, and Meadowview Park and surrounding apartments, which lie between the boundaries of Frostbank Center Drive and Salado Creek. We come before you on behalf of our UHIA in support of the San Antonio Stock Show and Rodeo and its mission to expand its operations and programs on and near the Coliseum. They have exhibited a commitment to our community, especially our youth, in many ways, from attending neighborhood meetings, offering use of its facilities for neighborhood events, and hosting events for our community, such as their Ag Education Days that expose our young people and adults to learning about wildlife, horseback riding, roping, and interacting with and feeding livestock animals. Many of our community have not had opportunities to experience what it's like to train, care for, and feed farm animals. But the San Antonio Stock Show and Rodeo have reached out to our communities, providing agricultural education and training opportunities to the younger residents in our community. We are in support of their being able to improve and expand the Coliseum and the surrounding area to provide more of these experiences, upgrade their facilities, and host year-long events that will hopefully bring more visitors and participants to the East Side venue. This will not only benefit our community and neighborhoods, but hopefully the San Antonio community as a whole. Thank you.
Thank you. Jesse Casares.
Good morning, Judge Akai and Commissioner Court. Thank you guys for having us here today to discuss on the very important topic of the venue proposal downtown for the Sports and Entertainment District. I am Jesse Casares. I live in D1. I'm a born and raised San Antonian, and I can see the history as the 1968 World's Fair did to San Antonio and what this will bring to San Antonio. With that, I founded the Downtown Neighborhood Association to really immerse myself in our community. This is home. This is where we are going to thrive, both for locals and visitors alike. With that, we've seen what the Pearl has come to. We see what it was before and how it really made a community thrive. And with that, we really do see what the Rodeo is doing and support and all the things that they're doing. And with the Land Bridge and with the Sports and Entertainment District, we've seen what Hemisphere has done to our community, and we just see the small little pocket of what the folks of, with the Hemisphere Commission and all of the wonderful things they are doing to our city, and how we really can make that a huge thing for San Antonio. As far as our economic impacts, the Final Four brought in over $400 million to our local economy. And if we are not staying updated with our facilities, if we don't have a place for those types of events to call home, we are going to get surpassed. Austin is currently having their convention center renovated, so is Houston, and we need to be keeping up with those times. San Antonio is projected to become the 6th largest city in the United States, surpassing Philadelphia, and that will be happening very soon. We need to keep up. As a young professional that works and lives downtown, that breathes San Antonio, this is going to be necessary for us to keep up with our young talent and our young professionals in the city of San Antonio. And I do believe with our leadership, we will, find a solution for affordable housing, homelessness, and really room for creative innovations. And so, like Hemisphere did, and as we've seen in the decades before us, the leaders before us, and where we can actually walk and breathe today because of their decision making, we hope that you will follow in their leadership and footsteps as well. And let this be your legacy for San Antonio for generations to come. So I definitely support this project, and I ask you as my final message, please take this bold step, be thoughtful, and these actions will definitely lead for us for generations to come. So I thank you for your time.
Calderon.
Hello, my name is Carolina Calderon, and I'm a proud resident of downtown San Antonio, living in District 2. I'm here today to express my enthusiasm and support for the development of the projects as a whole. As someone who lives and works in the heart of the city, I see firsthand the potential this project has to energize our community, not just economically, but socially and culturally. This kind of growth is exactly what San Antonio needs to continue thriving as a vibrant, forward-moving city. I'm excited for what this means for our future, from job creations to increased tourism, to more reasons for residents like me to stay invested in long-term place we call home. It makes me proud to be a part of San Antonio, and even more motivated to contribute to its continuing success. Thank you, Commissioners, and Court Judge for your time and your leadership. Appreciate it.
Nora Sophia.
Good morning, everyone. I'm so glad Caroline is almost the same height as me for the microphone. I stand before you as a native San Antonian that almost wasn't. And what I mean by that is my parents were both born in Corpus Christi in the 1930s. The only reason we ended up here is because my father trained at Lackland for the Air Force and fell in love with the most beautiful city. And when he went home to tell my mother after the Air Force that we were moving to San Antonio, he said it's because San Antonio is going to evolve while Corpus will not. I kind of think that's true today, even though all my relatives are still in Corpus. But the thing is, for me, I fell in love with the city too as a little girl. My parents still, at 91 and 92, come down every Sunday to stroll through downtown. They love the energy, they love the vibrance. My father was tickled in 1968 with the World's Fair because he said San Antonio would evolve. I moved away for a short time. I had to find my husband in another state. Maybe that's another agenda. But when I came back to downtown. And I came back to downtown because I saw something different. I saw potential. And I saw a lot of things changing and moving. And so my hope is that for the project as a whole, we're not asking our visitors to pay for us to have a better quality of life. What we're asking for is to have a better quality of life created to attract more visitors and more business. Thank you so much.
Betty Buchet. Betty needs some help?
Judge, Commissioners, ladies and gentlemen, I'm Betty Buchet, the first Vice President of the San Antonio Conservation Society. The Conservation Society of San Antonio has been investing in preservation of historic homes and buildings on the east side of San Antonio for decades. Annually, the Society has given up to $100,000 per year in building grants to private or public owners who actively engage in preserving historic elements of their buildings. The public purpose of these grants are to allow community members to enjoy and learn about our community's cultural heritage as told through the historic facades of the built environment. If Commissioners Court decides to call a bond issue to engage in economic development on the east side of San Antonio, we encourage strong consideration be given to incorporating preservation of cultural heritage evident in the buildings into any plans implemented with bond funds. There are many important historic structures throughout the east side of San Antonio. This inventory of significant sites should provide one of the guiding documents for decisions regarding new development. The Texas Historical Commission has identified the Baptist settlement as a highly valued but undertold story in Bexar County. They have called for further research and interpretation of this area. This is a large urban area where formerly enslaved persons established homes, neighborhoods, businesses, and multiple churches. After Juneteenth, many freemen's towns appeared throughout Texas. In San Antonio, it was the Baptist settlement, where a new community established its cultural heritage and developed a thriving economy. The Conservation Society intends to continue investing in the preservation of historic buildings on the east side. We would be pleased to work in close coordination with Bexar County for east side economic development plans if the county decides to proceed in that direction. I have a copy of this letter from our President, Louis Vetter, for each of you. Thank you.
Thank you. Andrew Gregory.
Thank you, Judge, Commissioners. My name is Andrew. I live in Precinct 3, just east of the International Airport. Commissioner Moody is my commissioner. Come up here today to talk about that. We are a city of stadiums, including one that is highly recognizable as part of our city skyline. And yet these stadiums struggle to retain resident performers and organizations. There's a constant need to find events, musical tours, etc., for instance, to fill the Alamo Dome, even when those events do not make up for the operating cost of the facility. We've heard promises of long-term relationships before. We've heard promises of long-term relationships today. And yet there's only one large big league professional sports team organization in the city. Them, as well as the minor league teams that we have here and that have had here, the Missions, the football club, the Rampage, are all controlled by the same people. This is effectively a sports entertainment monopoly. They are aware of this dynamic, and they are squeezing everything they can out of the city and the county, the people of the city of the county, for all that they can. Project Marvel will not change this dynamic. It would only saddle the people with another debt item, an expense, as Grant Moody has mentioned in the last item we had before this topic, that they're concerned about, even if it comes from a tax that comes from a hotel occupancy, that can be used in other places, in better places. All this construction plan will overwhelmingly facilitate the flow of money from Spurs fans to the Spurs organization. For this reason, the construction projects need to be funded solely by the Spurs organization with no public funds. Raising public funds to line the pockets of private sports entertainment organizations should not be tolerated. It is blatantly obvious that they're unpopular, that these planning procedures are going behind closed doors. Unfortunately, some public officials, some city managerial staff have determined that dollars have as much of a voting say as the citizens. Project Marvel is a funnel for that reason. It is a funnel of funds to the Spurs organization. So my request to you is to take the proposal as written currently and throw it in the trash and come back something that actually serves the people of San Antonio. Thank you.
Isan Baker.
Good morning, Commissioners and Judge. My name is Isan, and based on my experience living on the east side and working in the proposed sports and entertainment district footprint, I oppose voting to use any public funds for venue projects because it continues a long pattern of displacement and exploitation. The associated gentrification with this project is rooted in the same profit-driven logic that has displaced working families for generations in cities all around the world. Projects like this hand public resources to private developers while pushing out the very people who make tourist industry profits possible: the cooks, hotel staff, and construction workers. Aside from degrading conditions, I want to know what guaranteed benefits hardworking citizens will receive. I'm tired of being a city that gloats about how many low-wage labor jobs we have to offer and continues to gloss over ongoing issues to suit profitability. We have discussed these concerns before. The last two stadiums were sold as opportunities to generate meaningful economic and fiscal returns, but each time they failed to deliver for working families. Our neighbors have continued to face low wages, rising rents, and the constant threat of being priced out. The evidence shows that this new district will only accelerate displacement while pandering to developers. If we want to keep up with other major cities, we need to ask who's being left behind. Imagine being known as a city that prioritizes its residents before industry, taking an active role in eradicating generational poverty by laying a strong foundation based on needs, not wants. True investment in San Antonio means paying attention to its people, with housing they can afford and wages they can survive on. This project has not demonstrated its ability to offer this, and in a state like Texas, where rent control is prohibited, approving this plan without real protections would be irresponsible. and exacerbate the existing housing crisis. I'd rather use our valuable efforts to talk about plans for limits on short-term rentals or measures to prevent rent spikes. These are efforts that would actually pave the way for generational wealth. I ask that we learn from our mistakes and reject consideration to use hotel occupancy tax funds for these inefficient and unproductive venue projects. This is an opportunity to instead address existing infrastructure and truly improve the quality of life for the people who call San Antonio home. Thank you.
Thank you. Grayson Maru?
Hello, my name is Grayson, and I'm a resident of Precinct 2 and a constituent of Justin Rodriguez. I'm here as a constituent to express that I do not want public money spent on these projects and that these questions should not be put on the ballot this November. The money that would fund these projects is fundamentally produced by the labor of San Antonio workers and should be used to improve the lives of and meet the needs of our people. Research and experience show that stadium projects do not bring economic growth. What it will bring is gentrification and displacement to already disenfranchised communities. Our elected officials should be embarrassed at the lack of democratic engagement in this process. It is indicative of a government that serves the interests of the wealthy and not the interests of working people. Thank you.
Thank you. Sarah Mock.
Hi, I'm here to speak about my opposition to using the hotel occupancy tax for the proposed improvements to downtown venues and the building of another Spurs stadium, otherwise known as Project Marvel. I live on the east side and I'm a constituent of Precinct 4, and I will be affected by this project. I'm here because I and many other people in this city think it is appalling that this project has moved along as far as it has without sufficient community involvement, without adequate opportunities for residents to democratically participate in decision-making, and without any care for the people that will be most impacted by this project. Not to mention the fact that decades of research has shown that stadiums are bad investments for cities whose returns never live up to what is promised in the beginning by developers and economists. With this development will come gentrification, increases in property taxes, and the further disenfranchisement of the east side following generations of broken promises. Over 50% of people in San Antonio are cost burdened, which means that they spend more than 30% of their income towards housing. Of that 30%, or of that 50%, half are significantly cost burdened, which means that they pay over 50% of their income towards housing costs. For every $100 increase in housing costs, houselessness increases by 9%, which is a crazy number. So I really urge you all to think about how the policies that are created here will actually impact people's lives. And I think that the way that this project has been introduced to the public is a farce that has been enacted to give it the veneer of legitimacy and democratic consent. This project is very transparently the product of backdoor deals between city officials and developers to line their pockets and push people out of their homes in the name of profit. Affordable housing and workforce housing for downtown workers whose labor creates the wealth that pays for projects like this should be the cornerstone of this project, not an afterthought. And the county should not be giving public money to millionaires like Peter Holt here, who use the threat of revoking their business in San Antonio to force unpopular policy on the rest of us. Gentrification is a process that results from policy choices by people like you, and it robs families of their homes that they lived in for generations, steals their livelihoods, and destroys neighborhoods forever. It is preventable, and you have a responsibility to the people who elected you to do everything you can to prevent it. Thank you.
Thank you. Leticia Vela.
Hello, I'm Leticia Vela. I live in the medical center area, so in a new housing, senior housing living community that was done with public funding on a vote. Those are the kind of projects that the city needs. It has helped me and several where I live. And so I want to encourage you to make those kinds of decisions for the city and keep having those opportunities for people who are struggling. So I am a lifelong resident of San Antonio. Well, I actually did leave for a little while, and I got to see other places that were better than San Antonio. And I'm opposed to the new arena and the venue project as a whole. I don't think that we've been good stewards of downtown. I've been here a long time, so I saw downtown when it had better days. This new stuff just really doesn't work. I tried to drive from the library to the south side of downtown, and it was a horrible drive down St. Mary Street. I mean, everything is convoluted downtown. We're talking about this venue place, but we're not talking about what we do have that we need to uplift. At the Hemisphere area, we have UNAM and the Mexican consulate that have buildings there. They do excellent programming. We're just going to tear up everything around them and make them suffer like we've done all around this city for all kinds of businesses. And we're not talking about helping them. Right now, the Magic Theater is in dire straits as well. They have no air conditioning. They have no access on Alamo Street. You come down to the east side, to the west side of downtown, and both Market Square facilities have no air conditioning. They've never been upgraded, and it's horrible. Just you need to take a look at those situations. Down the street a little further to the west, you have an addiction and houseless community living on the streets. But yet we're talking about a new sports arena. That does not make any kind of sense. And I think that, it's long enough that the development community has had a stranglehold on us as a city, and we need to do better. Thank you.
Thank you. Bessima Abusat.
Hello, my name is Bessima. I'm a constituent of Justin Rodriguez in Precinct 2. I'm here to speak today in opposition to any public funding being used for Project Marvel, including revenue from the hotel occupancy tax. Peter Holt's statement earlier was full of contradictions. He stands in front of the court and speaks of the successes between the city and the Spurs. He speaks in front of the court of the supposed successes of the Frost Bank Center. Yet in the media, he condemns the Spurs fan experience. He speaks ill of the Frost Bank Center. He diminishes that same success that he brings up in the court. Not even Peter Holt can deny the failure that was the Frost Bank Center. So don't make that same mistake again. The Spurs company has pledged $500 million for a project that will ultimately cost upwards of $5 billion, not to mention inevitable delays that come with these extremely bloated projects that will increase cost even more with no return for the citizens of San Antonio. This is barely a drop in the bucket, and the citizens of San Antonio should not have to bankroll an ego project that gives us nothing. Peter Holt and his millionaire friends are asking you to ignore our past mistakes and to ignore the extensive research that shows sports stadiums are not a beneficial investment for the cities. They do not create full-time, well-paying jobs. They do not benefit the residents of those neighborhoods in the neighborhoods that the stadiums are being built in. Just ask the East Side residents if the Frost Bank Center delivered on the promises that were made in the 90s. Oh wait, y'all did. Tommy Calvert hosted those so-called community engagement sessions that proved that East Side citizens are not content with this project and do not approve. Make the decision to represent the interests of your constituents. Make the decision to vote no on any public funds being used for Project Marvel.
Thank you. Is it Jacob Tucker?
I'm Jake Tucker with Pueblo Over Profit, a volunteer organization advocating against policies that lead to gentrification and displacement while promoting housing as a human right. We call on this court to reject this project negotiated behind closed doors without meaningful public input. Specifically, we call on you to reject any public funding for a new Spurs arena. Over the past several months, I've been to one of Commissioner Calvert's town halls, 3 of the community engagement sessions hosted by Able City, and the recent special session of City Council. In each instance, the public sentiment was overwhelmingly distrustful of the current plans for a sports and entertainment district. Further, the extensive research regarding public funding for sports stadiums is very clear that it is almost always a terrible investment of public funding, generating far less economic benefit to the public than alternatives offering better employment opportunities for workers and a longer-term commitment. Stadiums offer primarily temporary, part-time, and low-wage jobs. In his testimony, Peter Holt, chairman of the Spurs, detailed the cities paying over half of the construction costs of new stadiums, citing our small market as a reason to pay up. We're also one of the poorest cities per capita of NBA cities. Is that another reason why we should make bad economic decisions? So if constituents have overwhelmingly spoken against this, if the evidence shows these deals are a poor use of public dollars, and if the people you serve have far more needs than replacing a perfectly acceptable stadium, then what public serving reason is there to pony up for our public money? To maintain an abusive relationship with an ownership group holding us hostage unless we give the richest among us our public dollars? We reject this corrupt race-to-the-bottom approach, arising every couple decades and calling you to use our public money for public good. Since I have a minute left, I really want to reject this idea that we spend, this funding comes from tourists, right? Because as was mentioned before, and I worked for almost a decade in the hotel industry, that revenue is created by the workers who work those jobs. And just speaking from experience, until my hotel became a union hotel, those jobs are abusive, they're low wage, and I mean, they would work us 12, 14, 16, 18 hours a night to get things ready for the next day and so on. And so we need to fight for better jobs in San Antonio, not using the revenues that come in to create more of these same kind of jobs. We need to make sure that anything that gets any money from here provides a decent, dignified, professional career for the people working those jobs, and not just low-wage, terrible, body-breaking jobs that are currently on offer from the hotel stuff downtown. Thank you.
Thank you. Jack Finger.
Judge Sakai, other members of the County Commissioners Court. For the record, my name is Jack M. Finger. You know, in a county of a couple million people, I must be one of the very few that seem to see this big elephant in the room, willing to expose it. So, well, here goes. We're ready, fire, aim. Yuck. Why do the Spurs remind me of, to put it gently, a lady of the evening who hops from customer to customer looking for the best deal? I kid you not. It was back in '93, they said that the Hemisphere Arena, I'm sorry, it's just too loud, too outdated. We need an Alamo Dome. And so what did we do? We foolishly gave them an Alamo Dome and tore down that still useful Hemisphere Arena. And about 7 years later, they come back and say, Alamo Dome just doesn't meet our needs there. We need an AT&T center. Yes, and if you build an AT&T center, you just watch. You build it, and they will come. Those businesses will flourish like anything on the east side. That sure worked out, didn't it there? Yeah. So what did we do? We built them an ATTN center, soon to be named the Frost Bank Center. And then just a couple of decades later, they said, doggone it, we need to keep up with the Joneses all around the country. We need a new stadium and right close to where the old Hemisphere Arena is, just inches away from where it was. Yeah, and if you don't give it to us, well, we'd sure hate to leave from 90 miles up the road for Austin. Oh, yeah. Well, here's the point. If they're a bunch of dummies, yes, dummies 90 miles away who are willing to take on the Spurs team, I mean, what was their whopping winning record last year? I think it was 44%. Yeah, well, maybe they just had a bad year. What was it the year before? A whopping 24%. Woo-hoo! Yep. Let me just say that the Spurs, as bad as they are, they know how to play this game, and they're better at it than you guys are. Please, don't fall for this stuff. Yeah, I mean, the Spurs know how to get the money if they really need it, and if they say they need to just got to move on, all I can say is, go Spurs, go far, far away. Yes. Thank you.
All right, that concludes all those that signed up. If you didn't sign up, is there anybody here that signed up that I did not call? All right. That concludes the citizens to be heard on this specific issue. I did indicate that we would go to executive, but there has been a request to consider the consent agenda and try to get that out. So at this time, let's see what matters need to be pulled. Vote on the remaining issues, consent. I think we also have the minutes and then the rest of the citizens to be heard. So I'm doing my best. We're at the noon hour, so we will go to executive session on the time certain on the venue tax projects. And then we will then perhaps break for lunch and then come back out after that. So I'm doing my very best to accommodate everyone's presence here and to kind of signal when we can take up. So at this time, I will ask with consent to the court that we hold the time certain in abeyance for now. We now move to agenda item 5, request for Commissioners Court to identify items from the consent agenda for additional discussion and to approve remaining consent agenda items. Commissioner Clay Flores, are there any matters?
I'd like to pull 46.
46. Anything else? Commissioner Rodriguez.
I'm good, Judge.
Commissioner Moody.
I'd like to pull item 37.
37. Okay.
Nothing for me, Judge.
Commissioner Calvert? All right. So we have just 2 matters here. Is there a motion to approve the consent?
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Rodriguez, second by Commissioner Clay Flores. All those, I'll call for a vote. All those in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. All right. Well, I'm looking at the court. Do you want to take up the remaining, or you want to?
Let's do the two. Can we do the two?
Well, let's take the 2 items for individual considerations, and then we'll try to finish. Then we'll go to executive. Larry,
Judge, it's up
is
to
there?
you. If you want to defer those 2 items until after, that's completely up to the
Yeah, why
court.
don't we do that? Maybe take up the citizens first.
Let's go to citizens. So, all right?
Let's get it over with.
Okay, so if we go in order, I will then take up agenda item 6, filing for the record of filing legal and administrative documents and directing the Criminal District Attorney's Office to take action if necessary, A through I. We'll take up agenda item 7, Commissioners Court minutes for Tuesday, July 8th.
Motion approved.
Motion by Commissioner Rodriguez, second by Commissioner Calvert. All those in favor of the motion to approve minutes, signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Any abstention? Motion carries. We'll now go to agenda item number 8, citizens to be heard. All right, we do have quite a few. I'll take up the constables if they're still here. Constable Tejeda, Precinct 1.
Judge, Commissioners, I just wanted to take just a few minutes. I was going to say good morning, but it's kind of...
No more.
I gave you packets, and I'm just going to read. The first section is a memo sent to the Budget Director, Mr. David Smith, offering an account of the pending needs and in the upcoming fiscal year. Second is a section for the two bills that are already passed. Apparently, some of the people in the budget office weren't aware of the passing. One is going to be the squatter law, SB 1333. It's effective in September of 2025. And also SB 38, the speedy process related to evictions. That'll be the start of the year. The third section, update and verification of civil process that my office has executed from October 2024 to July 2025. Reports all come from the Odyssey and the Civil Serve system. Fourth section is a sample of breakdown in detail of the process of FEND, or forced entry and detainer. What I'm explaining there is how long it takes for the paperwork to come from the JP court, how long it takes for the officers to get the paperwork. And of course, in January, it's going to change from 10 days to 5 days. So it's going to expedite the eviction process. Fifth section is a letter from the Texas Attorney General addressed to the county judge related to our performance. A few years back, we started working better with the Attorney General's office, and we started serving more of that process. Of course, they email the information, we print it out, and then we get it served and returned. So everything has to have due diligence of how many attempts. Usually they ask us to continue to try to serve this process. The JP courts usually ask at least three times to try to serve process. So it takes a lot of background and a lot of traveling and so on. The sixth section is details summary of the revenue generated by my office from October 2024 to 2025, July. I do hope the Commissioners Court will take into account the changes, the laws, my need to have my personnel to properly execute these documents. I've been requested to work warrants, and the last time I did this was a few years ago. I proposed 2 clerks and also 4 officers. 2 officers were going to work during the day, and 2 were going to work at night. So right now, the complication is on evictions. Also, we run into wanted people, of course, executing warrants. And many are felony, A, B, C, so it all depends on the individuals that we're evicting from their homes or apartments. So right now, I'm direly needing these officers to do a proper job. The percentage is increasing every year. It's been increasing for the last few years. So I'm not asking for, a whole bunch. Each of these officers that are serving process will pay for themselves for the amount of process they're serving. Because with any document, they get, the Bexar County gets paid for it. Also, you can adjust on how much you pay for the civil process, because every year we go and meet and discuss what price each document is going to be costing. So the population is growing, my area is exploding, so I'm not asking to where I'm just wanting extra personnel. All these people are going to be working. All these people are going to be serving process. And the big thing is going to be safety. Now we're having to send officers, maybe 2 or 3, to an eviction instead of just 1 because of their safety. A lot of times we run into difficult matters, people that are wanted on felonies and so on. So we not only have to evict them, but we also have to arrest them, and that takes time. I'm willing to work the Class A and B warrants, but it's on the approval of Commissioner's Court. We need to develop a process of the process that I developed years ago on Class C.
Wrap it up.
On Class C misdemeanors was to take the individuals straight to the JP instead of booking them at the MAG's office. So that generated a lot of revenue. But I thank you for your time. I thank you for working with me, and hopefully with Mr. Smith, we can work together and accomplish something. I know they recommended 2 officers, but we really need the personnel. To do an adequate job, we need the personnel. Thank you.
Thank you. Constable Vasquez.
She had
She had to leave.
She had an emergency.
Constable Vavidich, I'm allowing you to come back and speak for 3 minutes.
Good afternoon, Judge, Commissioners, members of the court. This morning we talked a little bit about the DA's office using unexpended salary funds redirected to his office. Unfortunately, the same application of the law was denied to Precinct 3 to use unexpended salary funds to move to other needs within Precinct 3. My question would be, why was there a difference in handling these 2 issues? Sir, Judge Sakai, you did well in your first year, meeting with us and working towards several critical goals, addressing past injustices, and along with the constables, even offering your cell number and an invitation to talk or meet any time, but that has not yet happened. I've sent emails, requested meetings with you and your chief of staff without result. Staff recently set a meeting date for yourself and the constables, and when I sent them a letter 2 days ahead of the meeting stating that I wanted to address the perception of a lack of transparency and a request of your staff to obey the Texas Constitution and law, the meeting was canceled and was never rescheduled. This court additionally had decided to vote against adding an additional SRO to our north schools, protecting these kids in the Comal Independent School District, and tabled it, never to revisit that particular decision. That's a position fully paid for by the Comal Independent School District. Budget is a continuing issue. I understand that we have competing needs and they get direction from the court on a lot of different areas, but one area that should not be occurring is micromanaging the words and the effects inside an elected official's office. That is strictly supposed to be their sphere of influence that no other elected official, let alone staff of an elected official, should be intruding on. They should not substitute their judgment for mine in the case of Precinct 3. Doesn't mean that everything I ask for will be approved by the court, but at judgment level, for example, I would prefer to get 2 necessary motorcycles to do traffic enforcement. I've used them in the past in Precinct 3, but the staff raised concerns about safety and that a policy needed to be created for the use of police motorcycles. That has not occurred as far as I know. The safety issue is a false narrative, as the BCSO still operates 7 to 9 BMW motorcycles, and our training is identical to that of the Bexar County Sheriff's Office. But the denied chain, where we will not be allowed to use motorcycles, actually has a hidden cost, not just in operating expenses, but it also shifts the cost to taxpayers in about $300,000 in incidental fine revenue over 3 years. That's the difference in the productivity of a motor unit and somebody in a four-wheel drive vehicle. A traffic unit that can be getting into these school zones and these small compartmented areas safely is a motorcycle. So that money that would have been brought in to discourage people from speeding in school zones, that violators would have had to pay the costs of law enforcement. Instead, now it's shifted that cost of law enforcement to the law-abiding citizens.
Judge, Commissioners, time has expired.
Time's up. Constable, thank you.
Okay. Thank you.
Penny Hall Penny.
Good morning. Thank you for allowing me to, well, not morning, afternoon now, for allowing me to speak. My name is Penny Halpenny, and I'm speaking to you in regarding to the private road in Bexar County that is owned by my daughters Ellen Brooker, Margaret Marie Ferguson, my nephew Johnny Halpenny, and great niece Sydney Halpenny, who is a daughter of my nephew David Ray Halpenny, my brother's youngest son. I was appointed administratrix of the Halpenny estate property upon my father's passing in 1976 until my brother was released from prison in 1978. Thereafter, I served only as needed as requested by those named above. Upon my brother's release from prison in 1978, he mainly lived out of state and when unavailable asked me to continue to handling any land issues on his behalf. I consulted him regularly and regarding every land deed given and every right-of-way conveyance, as he was the primary landowner and I was acting on his and my daughter's behalf. For as my father's will, per my father's will, my eldest daughter, Margaret, turned 23 in 1984, and my youngest daughter, Ellen, turned 23 in 1986, at which time they both became co-owners and with full rights of signatory on the property of my father's. The timeline created is based on the Bexar County records. In 2020, a new subdivision was being constructed behind the Halpenny property in question. By 2023, the new subdivision began driving on the Halpenny Road, which is a private road. One of the owners, Ms. Smith, who lives there and has a right-of-way conveyance, began complaining to the city of Helotes and to Bexar County. I accompanied her in 2 trips and stood by her also voicing my concerns about the intrusion on behalf of other landowners. When the complaints fall on deaf ears, on her own, Ms. Smith began digging through public records in Bexar County regarding the road to find out how to protect her right-of-way and to see if she and other ranchette owners could fight the county on the traffic coming from McCrary subdivision via Ansley Cross onto Sunset Hill. It is through her investigation that she learned of a document filed in 1993 which was purported, signed and notarized in 1977 by me. Not only did I never create this document, but I never signed such a document, nor did I ever file such a document with the county. And when I asked to see the original document to verify that, no one could produce the document for me or Mrs. Smith's review. After several attempts, and since Judge Sakai would not
Ms.
see me...
Halpenny, I'm going to have to cut you off, but I want to be sensitive to you. I also noticed I have Johnny Halpenny, I got Margaret Ferguson, Ellen Brooker. I assume that's all of you right there? Yes. Can I just ask, where precinct is the property that you are discussing?
It's...
And if we could just get
in the
staff...
Helotes area.
The what?
The Helotes.
What precinct?
I think it's 2 and 3. Yeah, it's like between boundaries.
So, Commissioners, is this on your radar? Can we have staff help her?
Yeah, I think we you were here before. Is that right, ma'am? And I think
That was on another agenda. Yes, sir. Okay. And it's just the case that the county took over a road that was a private road using my name as if I gave the county the road, which was an illegal
Is that Public
procedure.
Works? Is that Art? Yeah. Art Reinhardt? Where are you, Art Reinhardt? I need you to talk, would the family talk to Public Works, please? I think it's in precinct 2, precinct 3.
We'd really like to address the commissioners regarding this, because she's already tried to talk to Mr. Whitehart.
Yes.
Commissioner Moody?
Well, I mean, I'm generally aware of the issue. My staff has been working with you for a very long time.
No, they have not been working with me on this particular.
This is citizens to be heard. Stop,
Yeah,
stop.
okay.
I'm gonna cut
Okay,
this off.
I'm sorry.
And we're not gonna, but I'm trying to get you on the, so help us out. Where can we move forward?
Well, how about when you guys step away, you can sit with Art and Jenny from my team. I don't know if Commissioner Rodriguez, if you want to have somebody involved in that conversation, but.
Yeah, I can have Francesca involved. I think they're precinct 3 residents, but we're happy to coordinate with you.
Okay, could you do that, please? And if you're not
Yes.
happy, obviously you're invited back at the
Okay.
next Commissioners Court meeting to let
I
us know.
appreciate.
I'm from out of town and I came down just for this meeting. Yeah.
Okay,
I came.
all right.
We came and coordinated.
Okay,
just to be able to
so
speak.
Ms. Halpay, you're done. Who are you?
I'm Margaret Ferguson.
All right, Ms. Booker, you got your 3 minutes.
Yeah. Ellen? Margaret Ferguson. Margaret Ferguson, yes. Ferguson.
Oh, you're Ferguson, Ms. Ferguson.
Yes, I'm Margaret Ferguson. I'm here speaking about concerns regarding a private road in Bexar County that I co-own. The following timeline occurred according to your own Commissioner's Court and Public Work records. In February 1992, Public Works amended procedures for assessing cost of improving roads and subdivisions with the court order, Article 2.201. One or more of the record owners in a subdivision must deliver to the department a written request to be considered for improvements to the roads in subdivision and/or access road thereto and assessments. March 30th, 1993, after 16 years of maintaining gravel roads, the Sunset Valley Ranchette property owners applied to the county for road improvements. The Halpenny family is not consulted or included in the negotiations. A public hearing is scheduled for May 18th, 1993. May 18th, 1993, a public meeting is held regarding the Sunset Valley Ranchettes subdivision property owner's application for road improvements. However, no action is recorded in the Commissioner's Court minutes, yet paperwork from a September 27th, 1995 Commissioner's Court meeting states that an election was ordered at this time. June 29th, 1993, results of an election were declared on Commissioner's Court